the European Union will raise a €35 billion credit to back the Ukrainian economy and military as the war-torn nation fights to stand up to a re-established Russian hostile that has gravely harmed the control frameworks and made regional advances within the East. The credit was reported by Ursula von der Leyen on Friday amid her visit to Kyiv, promising maximum flexibility in how the money will be spent. Russia keeps focusing on your civilian energy framework in an outright and vicious way to undertake to dive your nation within the dark, the European Commission president said in a press conference next to Volodymyr Zelensky. The European Union is here to assist you in this challenge, to keep the lights on, to keep your individuals warm as winter is just around the corner, and to keep your economy going as you battle for survival, she included. The promise speaks to the EU's share of the $50 billion plan, €45 billion, that G7 partners had guaranteed in their June summit, utilizing Russia's immobilized resources as collateral. But the G7 activity has ended up hindered down in specialized talks between EU and US authorities, with no simple resolution in sight. As the EU sanctions on the resources have to be re-established every 6 months by unanimity, the White House fears Hungary, the most Russia-friendly member state, might one day use its veto, unfreeze the cash, and cause the entire advance to unwind, leaving Western partners to foot the bill of repayments with their national budgets. Final week, the Commission displayed part states with 3 alternatives to guarantee the long-term consistency of the sanctions, with recharging periods extending from 36 months to 5 years. But a couple of days afterward, Hungary made clear it would not move forward with the scheme until the US presidential elections of 5 November. Due to the budgetary risks associated with the operation, the US Congress will need to approve additional funding, something unlikely to happen. With the circumstance in Ukraine turning progressively critical and rising fears of a compassionate emergency within the winter, the Commission is venturing things up and expanding its interest of up to €35 billion in a bid to ease the White House's concerns. On paper, this means the other G7 partners ought to put forward just €10 billion to reach the €45 billion or $50 billion pledge announced in June. We ought to make Russia pay for the pulverization it caused, von der Leyen said. We're doing our share presently with the €35 billion. I'm completely certain that others will do their share, she included. For us, it's imperative that we're quick. The criticalness is evident. As most of Russia's solidified resources, amounting to €210 billion, are in the EU domain, the Commission will set up an extraordinary component to channel the windfall benefits, evaluated to be worth between €2.5 billion and €3 billion every year. Each G7 partner will then tap into this modern pool to benefit reimbursements, according to how much money they have raised for Ukraine. Significantly, von der Leyen's lending proposition rests on a qualified majority by member states, meaning Hungary's rejection will not be a threat. The credit ought to be approved before the conclusion of the year so it can be steadily dispensed throughout 2025. In parallel, Brussels has proposed the sanctions on the resources be renewed every 36 months. This key change, which the US is pushing for, will be subject to unanimity. Still, EU authorities insist that the €35 billion loan may go ahead even if Hungary wrecks the extension, as the ultimate guarantee remains the bloc's common budget. Ahead of her visit to Kyiv, von der Leyen declared a €160 million aid package for Ukraine, with €100 million backed by Russia's solidified resources to repair power plants and boost renewables, offering 2.5 gigawatts of capacity.